They set up a temporary material storage site on my land, so I turned it into a permanent junkyard, only for them. One Saturday morning, I stepped out with my coffee and nearly choked on the site. My quiet pasture, 5 acres of land my grandfather left me, looked like a construction supply depot. Pallets of bricks stacked 3 high, rebar bundles laid out like giant pickup sticks, and rolls of PVC pipe coiled across the grass. Bright orange fencing circled the whole mess. The laminated sign was zip-tied to a wooden post. It read, "Temporary construction storage, do not disturb." The problem? They had disturbed me. This wasn't their property. It was mine. My family had held this land for generations, long before the HOA subdivision next door paved their cul-de-sacs and built their cookie-cutter mansions. I called the project manager's number listed on the sign. He answered like he was doing me a favor just by picking up. "Yeah, we just needed a spot for a couple weeks," he said casually. "It's temporary. Don't worry, we'll move it when we're done." Temporary, always that word, as if sticking it on a sign made trespassing legal. I told him flat out that they had no right to use my land. His response? A half laugh, and then, "Relax, it's not hurting anything." That was the moment I decided I wasn't going to wait a couple weeks. The next night, I called in 2 buddies who owed me favors. One ran a forklift at the quarry, the other had a flatbed truck under the cover of darkness. We started relocating their entire temporary storage. Pallet by pallet, bundle by bundle, we moved everything about 200 yards deeper into my pasture. We didn't just dump it though. Oh no, we made it official. We built a perfect rectangle fortress around the materials using rusted barbed wire I'd pulled from an old fence line and tractor tires stacked like barricades. Right in the middle, I hammered in a massive sheet of plywood I'd spray painted earlier in the day. In red letters 10 inches tall, it read, "Permanent HOA storage yard, courtesy of their own theft." By sunrise, it looked less like a construction site and more like a junkyard prison. When their trucks pulled up later that morning, the horn honk started first, then came the shouting. I watched from my porch as hard hat supervisors marched back and forth at the property line, pointing and arguing. They wanted access, but I stood with the county map in my hand and the survey markers at my feet. That land was mine, every inch of it, and now their materials were locked inside my homemade junkyard. If they wanted it back, they'd have to cut through my fencing and trespass a second time with the sheriff, who was already on speed dial watching the whole thing. The project manager tried calling again, this time less smug and more desperate. I let it ring, then ring again. Finally, he left a voicemail saying they'd work something out, but there was nothing to work out. Their temporary stash had become my permanent problem, and I'd solved it in the only language an HOA understands: embarrassment and money. Within weeks, their big clubhouse project stalled. The HOA had to swallow the cost of buying all new materials, and word around town was the delay set them back months. My land, it still has that junkyard corner fenced off to this day. Not because I need it, but because I want them to see it every time they drive past. A permanent reminder that temporary theft comes with long-term pain. So let me ask you, would you have left their stuff alone or fenced it in like I did? And do like, subscribe.